The miracle of self-love. Self-love is a miracle in itself. With senses that perceive the outer world in separation, we can get lost in the world. We can get lost in our environment. As human beings, we have the tendency to look outside of ourselves for help and for mirrors, to see how to live life. Growing up as children, we are blank slates, or like I say, sponges. We pick up everything in our environment, and we really have no reference point besides the people that we grow up with to learn about life, to learn about the functions and faculties of what we're going to experience later down the line in our earth experience. We lose ourselves in people, we lose ourselves in situations, and we lose ourselves simply within living life every day. This is just the nature of being human, the nature of the senses, and going outside of ourselves to find validation in regards to our own life and our own experiences. We have the tendency to want to please other people's senses. We want to smell good, we want to look good, we want to make sure everything is on point, so that we are, when we're in other people's presences, they are comfortable. And sometimes more often than not, they are more comfortable than we are, with the means that we use to make them comfortable. And it's a sad thing, but it can be overcome. The miracle of self-love. Once we learn to take our senses inwardly, once we learn to appreciate what it means to be human, once we appreciate what it means to be a self and to have an individualized expression of the universe, we will end the thought of needing to please the senses of other people, because we'll realize that they are the same and have the same capabilities of us to go inward and to not please our senses, and to be self-sufficient, and to be in a world where they can express their individuality without worrying about who cares and who doesn't. This has great effects on the reality in our environment around us. It frees our energy up. It frees us up from years of conditioning and years of believing that we had to please other people and that we couldn't find our own way with our own experiences on the planet Earth without the training wheels, which are necessary. The training wheels that our parents, that school, and the people around us act as. We oftentimes, 95% of the time, take those training wheels and take those blueprints that we get from people and from life. We take those blueprints and we carry them throughout the rest of our lives without questioning them, without asking ourselves, is this right for me? Through the experiences that we have after we experience the blueprints that we've gotten from other people. When we love ourselves and we turn that love inwardly without the thought of needing someone's validation for the projects that we do, for the thoughts that we think, and the mentalities that we hold, we free ourselves. We free the world from those perceptions. We are essentially all watching each other and observing each other and trying to find examples within one another. Like I said, this is the nature of being a human. We kind of don't know what we're doing, and yet we have a subconscious that screams of knowing the whole of it all. Consciously, we travel through life and we experience other human beings and how they move and how they react and how they act. And if we look at the children, we could see that mirrored in them and everything that we do. And it took me to be a so-called adult to be able to witness children growing up and to watch how they literally take from what we do and how we move and how we talk, how we articulate, our mannerisms, how we relate to one another. They take that and run with it because they are the sponge now. They are the light turned off, and we flick the light on and we shape that light into how we perceive it should be. But ultimately, all of those thoughts are coming from other people, and when we were sponges and when we were impressionable. So basically what I'm saying is we have to reverse the thoughts. We have to reverse what we thought we were. This will breed self-love. This will breed an acceptance of who we are, who we could be, and the fact that we might not be who we believe we are, with the knowing that we have literally mirrored what we have saw growing up. It is mind-boggling because it brings up the question of, well, who am I? If I'm not what I've learned, if I'm not what I've been taught, if I'm not my parents, if I'm not the ideas and ideals of society and cultures and how they relate to one another and how we relate to them, if I'm not that, then who am I? And this question starts the journey of self-discovery, self-love, self-realization and self-actualization. And you get to the point where you realize that your awareness is a vital aspect of existence, and that your consciousness is existence, and that those that were born into this third dimensional world, into this earthly life, everyone is following the last and the last and the last and the last. And until we break free and have solitude and have time to ourselves where we can question what we've learned, we'll never really get past the hump of other and of learning from worldly things and how we react to the objects and how other people react to how we look and how we experience life and what we have, and the judgments, the illusions. I just had the pull to talk about this because I feel like where we're at right now within life, self-love and self-reflection and self-realization and self-actualization is at the forefront of experience, and we're seeing what resonates with us more within the outer world, and we're not just taking it in like whatever, this must be the truth because I have no reference point of this world and I have no reference point of how to navigate it. So we're not just being susceptible to the ideas of what we experience in the outer world, because ultimately everyone that, even myself, when we have ideas in regards to the outer world, it's mostly coming from the senses, and the senses aren't conveying what's really going on. So we only get a limited amount of information in regards to what we're experiencing when it comes to our mind, when it comes to our emotions, and when it comes to reacting to certain situations within life. The miracle of self-love, it changes everything. You become a magnet for those who are sucked in to their blueprint, which is ultimately mostly the same blueprint. Some are changed, some are different because different cultures and different parts of the world. But ultimately, as a human being, there is an obvious similarity when it comes to the learning of things and the learning of life. There's a similarity. Of course, there are differences, and we see how other people act differently because their blueprint was different growing up. But when we see through that and we're able to reflect on ourselves and really, really take responsibility for our world and take responsibility for what we've learned and how we took that in and how we navigated our world with the information that we got. And why our worlds are the way that they are. Why don't we come back to ourselves? Why are we constantly addicted to the opinions of others and the opinions of the media and the opinions of just the world at large when it comes to any action that we take? And we are addicted to asking others. We're addicted to looking for other people's perspectives on things. We're addicted to the outside world, and we have left ourselves behind, a self that we really don't know, because we are buried in the ideas of the world. We're buried in the thought that we have to conform and fit in to the world, and this is coming to its end. It's really at its end right now. In this moment, we're all yearning for this emptiness within us, this void that we want to fill with the world. But this is a trap, an ego trap within itself. We wish to have our own cups filled by our spirit is really what we really want, but we don't have the senses to perceive this subtle energy that is ourselves. And so we run outside and try to find a way to fill that void. We want approval from other people. We want to make sure that our thoughts and our feelings are validated through others, and it kind of makes us feel important in a way. And truthfully, that is the illusion. Our manifestation abilities magnify when we take our energy inward, and we need no validation. And when we don't worry about what other people think about our actions and our moves, our energy is heightened. It's heightened when we don't care about what other people think. It's heightened when we listen to our inner voice and our intuition and our inner guidance and the self-love that we hear inwardly, for the most part. I was just guided to talk about this. I'm going to go back and listen to this because it was kind of a blur. It was 12 minutes. But it's the Moon Man T. Much love to you.